In this video, I'll break down how a single hire gave two agency founders 3 to 4 hours of their day back and why he's still there 2 years later. I'll walk through what we were actually solving, how we found the right person, and the one thing that most people get wrong when they try to hire a position like this. So some quick context on this client. This is a fashion advertising agency and it's run by two co-founders. One owns the client acquisition, the other runs all that client fulfillment and that media buying. And both are drowning in the same thing, those little 15-minute tasks, the reporting, the back end, the admin, the follow-ups. Once you have all those different little tasks, they stack up into 3 to 4 hours of your day. So we placed an ops manager to take it off their plate, and we filled this position in under 3 weeks. And we ended up saving them about $62K a year versus hiring in the US. And I'll link Brandon, one of the co-founders, talking about his experience down in the description below. And one of the things you might be thinking is, hey, why don't you just set up Claude? Why don't you set up ChatGPT and Agent to handle all these different types of tasks? But the problem is these were the types of tasks where they still needed that judgment, that human element, that client communication, so you couldn't fully automate it with AI. And so that's why we decided to go the route of hiring an operations manager. A lot of times when someone gets really busy, they think, hey, I just need an executive assistant. And it feels obvious. You're busy, so you get an assistant. But the thing is, an executive assistant is the wrong hire. Your problem isn't, hey, we have a bunch of calendars, we need to manage a bunch of executives. The founders aren't drowning in those types of tasks. They're drowning in the actual work of running an advertising agency. And EA doesn't touch those types of things. And neither does a generic project manager who would just update ClickUp. You don't need that. You just need someone who could utilize AI and update ClickUp, update all the project management. So what they actually needed was someone with a little bit of context on their business and hands-on experience with the tools they use. An ops manager who has that tech background and Facebook ads experience, so there would be minimal friction when you're actually onboarding them and ramping them up. And when we're sourcing for talent, we can't just search an operator who understands media buying. If we post a job out on Upwork or Fiverr or even LinkedIn, we're just going to get 200 random and generic project managers. Instead, we define the role as an operations manager and a marketing tech assistant, because when we chose both titles, one is very, very specific and the other is a little bit general. And so it gives us a good range of candidates to look through. And then as far as the geography, there's a bunch of different places all around the globe that we could staff from, finding people who have that marketing experience, have that agency experience, the project manager experience. But specifically, we went to Europe and the founders are based there. So it worked from the time zone perspective. And then we looked in Serbia. So they've got a pretty neutral accent. They've got some people already working in the agency space and the e-com space. So it was a natural fit. And one of the interesting things that happened once we brought this Serbian hire on board, there was a little bit of a snag with Facebook account access, having an active Facebook profile. And Brandon, one of the co-founders, thought, hey, we might have this be a blocker on employment. We might need to go find someone else. So our team was already sourcing in the background. So if that chance happened where we need to find another person, we were able to fill that gap. But it worked out, so there was no replacement that was needed. And that was over 2 years ago, and the hire's still working there today. So on the numbers side, that's one operations manager filled under 3 weeks, saving $62K a year versus a US equivalent. But the number that matters isn't really the savings, it's more about getting two co-founders their time back so they don't have to deal with all those little 15-minute tasks. They can just focus on their zone of genius, stay in their swim lane, and do the things that actually make the agency money. So if you're a founder drowning in the little stuff, all the stuff that's preventing you from actually just growing the business, and you know you need a real operator, not a button clicker, not someone who's just going to update the ClickUp or is replaced by AI, this is exactly what we do. We find the person who knows your industry and takes that stuff off your plate for good. We've done it over 400 times. The link is down in the description of this video to book a call.